Africa TV, Free Cup Studio, live. 2021 GSL SuperTournament, Season 3.
All right, guys, we are back now for match number 2 after a beautiful match number 1 with Cure just barely edging out ByuN 3-2. We're going to go into Trap against RagnaroK. Now, I think everyone probably looks at this and says, Trap has no chance.
Yeah, Trap, I mean, like, him and Zest are just like the de facto best Protoss players in the world, whereas, I mean, RagnaroK, I feel like a lot of people, maybe they don't quite give him the respect he deserves as a player.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in my experience from seeing RagnaroK's play, it seems like he's a little bit more unpredictable in terms of his play style.
Yeah.
But before the cast today, I was looking at a lot of their recent matches, and one thing that I did notice is that RagnaroK, at least in online play, he's been doing really well in ZVP.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I mean, Trap, like, I mean, he's Trap. He's one of the best in the world. He's solid. But RagnaroK, like, when you start winning a lot in a matchup, even if it's just like an online games, that can give you confidence that carries you through to the land. You know, I mean, we could see a different kind of RagnaroK coming through today with maybe some quirky builds, maybe some nice aggression, and maybe he will be able to take this series off of Trap.
Yeah, it is possible, right? Like, Trap is the strongest Protoss, in my opinion, hands down. But like, RagnaroK is a little bit undervalued. There are times where RagnaroK is playing really well and really mixing his builds well. There's times where I feel like he's the 3rd best Korean Zerg after Rogue and Dark. Like, that's not always, and I know there's not like a lot of Korean Zergs to choose from, but yeah, RagnaroK does show moments of brilliance, and you know, sometimes Trap has a hard time. Like, I mean, look at some of his finals that he's had in GSL. Obviously not in Super Tournament. He's won 3 of them, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, he won the last one too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a beast.
He destroys these. But even though you're good at Super Tournament, I think the first round is the least Super Tournament-y because you have a longer time to prepare for that match. Yeah. So this is probably going to be a bigger hurdle for him than I think people would expect. I think this round is harder for him than the next round, even though Kira, the champion, is there. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Anyway, folks, we're going to be going into map number 1, 2,000 atmospheres. Let's go.
Game start. Africa Freaks, Trap. Alpha X, RagnaroK.
So I just want to really quick talk about the map name because this has always been in the back of my mind that this is like kind of a cool map name, right? Because it's an underwater map, so that's supposed to like refer to the pressure because you measure pressure in atmospheres, right?
Oh,
so like it's like
that never occurred to me.
Yeah. So but I think that's kind of cool. It's just we don't call it like the atmosphere that much, but that is what we live upon land, right? Yeah. And we have a pressure of 1 atmosphere here at the GSL studio. But it's kind of cool if you think about it, like in epic like movie speak or something, where it's like the weight of 2,000 skies are above you. It's like, whoa. Man. I mean, it feels like the sky doesn't weigh anything because that's my body pushes out with equal pressure. But like, you know, I don't know. I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I mean, if we really are at 2,000 atmospheres down, it's interesting to me that all of the biological Zerg units look exactly the same. Yeah. Well, I mean, mutas can flap through space, right? I've seen that cutscene 1,000 times, so I don't see why not, right? Imagine them having to change the way that all these units look and having like the Zerg units like shrink down.
I know, they're
like
all
the reverse blowfish that like goes to the surface and just like
every unit's a baneling at that point.
Imagine how hard it would be to like click on like 2 oracles coming in and harass, like the drones are like 2 pixels large. Like you're trying to click them down, but you can't do it. So one interesting thing to note is, I mean, well, it's not too far out of the ordinary, but Trap did go for the hatch block, and RagnaroK, he's one of those players that he's not going to see it. and move his drone to the third base. He's going to bring 2 drones down and contest it. And he did a really clean job of that. Usually you get a couple more seconds of delay, I want to say, with the probe and the natural, but
For sure.
pretty clean start right there for RagnaroK.
And it's nice to see him do that anyways, because you're right, normally they just go right to the third base. Like, we've seen Zergs just go there without the probe even being there. You know?
Well, I mean, these players are much smarter than me, and I know they have their reasons, but for me, I see more of an advantage in just having your natural be your natural.
Yeah.
I mean, I do understand, like, the lost mining time of going to the third and just not wanting to deal with the annoyance that is a Protoss probe in your base blocking the hatch. But also taking a forward third. So the way that I see this, if I scout this and I'm a Protoss player, I'm thinking aggression coming out here from RagnaroK.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it very well could be. That might be his best answer to the current metagame, right? Like, I mean, we were actually talking about this on the commercial break, where it's like, well, if Protoss chooses to go for a more sky toss-oriented opener, like makes Void Rays, it's incredibly hard to stop them from getting into the late game. So you might want to open with something like that, slightly more forward base, so that you have the option to do like an all-in or something.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Trap now going for an Oracle. Would not be surprised if he went into a Void Ray after that.
I'll one-up you and say I'd be surprised if he didn't go into a Void Ray after that. I mean, you have to clear the Overlords, right? And like, if you don't make any Void Rays, they know you're not going Sky Toss. If you make even one, they don't know.
Oh,
and that's like, it's like the amount of value that adds, just not knowing.
Yeah.
War is deception, says Sun Tzu, right?
Yeah, absolutely right there. And it's going to allow us to take this third base nice and quick. Going for a Twilight Council behind this as well.
Yeah, the Void Ray going to pop out and kill the Overlord. I like the Overlord scout timing there from RagnaroK.
Yeah, it's probably going to die anyway, so might as well confirm as much as you can about the Protoss. Spore is a little bit late here.
It is. That's a little bit sloppy, losing 3 drones there, and he gets out with the Oracle, which is of the utmost importance. And more gates being added on, as well as that Twilight that you mentioned. So is this going to be like a Glaives follow-up?
I don't think it would be Glaives, because, I mean, RagnaroK, at least from the games that I've seen from him, he's more of a Roach-heavy player. And, I mean, Zerg players, if they split their Roaches really well, you're not getting anything done with your Glaives. And especially if they get their Queens out on top of a Warp Prism, if you go for it, which we see the Robo going down now, I mean, that's... If you lose your Glaive Adepts, you're in a tough spot. So
For sure.
He is going it for her, though. So we'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, I think it will be a not very committed Glaives.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely on team... I don't like Glaives. In fact, I'm the leader of the anti-Glaive fan club in PvZ.
I think if you're going to go for Glaives, you should do it like the classic, like, God, it's years old now, but the classic just like speed Glaives off the Twilight Council into a third base with maybe 3 or 4 gateways and get what damage you can done and hopefully don't lose them all. But I don't know. It feels I thought that was going to go down for a second.
This is interesting though, because he is going 4 sentries now, and he has like 6 adepts, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
And he's making a quicker observer than we normally see. Okay.
Yeah. So this isn't a Glaive timing. Is this just Glaives to deal with the links and sentries to try and force everything out?
I think what he's going to do is a heavy 3-base push, but what he's going to do first is go across the map and keep the creep back. Because, I mean, if you're getting Observer that quickly, it has to be for clearing creep, right?
Right.
Like, why else would you have an Observer that quickly?
Oh, and that's exactly what these Adepts are accomplishing, too. I mean, like, cleaning up these Lings is really good if you're going for that timing attack as well. Going to cancel the Shade on 2 Adepts and get 3 drones for it. And that's a pretty favorable trade, if you ask me. And in the meantime, yeah, that creep spread is not far forward. He goes straight into Blink and +1. And all of these timings, especially with those 2 gateways, you're exactly right. This is going to be a big 3-base timing out of Trap.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, I kind of like what he's done with it. Where is that Observer? Is that just sitting in front of his natural? Like, I'm actually That's the thing. I know sounds stupid because observers are the least exciting unit, but that's actually the thing I'm most interested in is what the hell is this observer about? Because I haven't seen it used.
Maybe it's because he already accomplished his goal of pushing the creep cap with the Oracle. Yeah. Maybe the observer's like the backup in case that doesn't happen.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe it's for when you do eventually push across the map. It's cheaper than the Immortal, so you can build it and get your gateways up faster.
Oh,
and that's when you clear the creep.
That's the ordering of it.
And
You're
the Oracle
right.
is going to have the energy to put down stasis.
No, you nailed it. That's it right there.
Yeah. He's going second Robo and Robo Bay follow up behind this too.
Yeah.
So this isn't like a kill move.
This is kind of crazy too, because there's actually a Spire out, and he has some mutas. Now, if you go pure muta, like, this will always turn into a base trade, but it doesn't look like he's doing that. It looks like RagnaroK wants to hold on with Roach, Ling, Ravager. But this army looks too good. Yeah. That army looks way too good.
Especially with these 3 Stalkers at the front, they're just going to take a bunch of damage and then blink back. Get a shot of the mutas going down. Oh, that was so many Lings that got caught. Not quite sure how many went down there, but
good bios, though, to clear him as quickly as possible.
Oh, these cannons are so smart, too. He's ready for it.
Some Phoenixes being made to help deal with this as well.
And with Blink Stalkers out as well, these mutas aren't going to get anything done.
No, they're not. And the thing is, against this type of style, I really like Speed Bane Muta as a counter to it, but I think in this game, it's not really quite working out. Now, he is getting melee attack, and he is getting Bane speed, so I think that those are good counters against Blink Stalker play.
Oh, is it Bane? Was it trap?
Oh.
You activated his trap card.
Trap laid a trap. Some exhibit level memery going on. I heard you like traps. All right.
Yeah, this is the RagnaroK that we know and love.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big Baneling Ravager timing. And, man, Trap, I feel like he is playing the player, like, so hard right now. He's got 3 cannons on his third with 2 batteries.
Yeah. Baneling speed finishes, though, and Colossi are on the way.
I think he might have 1 done.
He doesn't have that many force fields. I think he has 4 force fields only.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, this is a big attack coming in. The Banelings actually are able to go through those force fields, and they get some big connections there. Overcharge going down on the battery, but it is already sniped, and this is huge damage coming into Trap.
And you know what? He hasn't killed that many probes yet, but we're really close to killing a lot.
He's going to hit critical mass right here.
And that
Colossus,
right.
Oh, the Warp Prism. He picks it up. Colossus barely surviving there, but...
Dude, the 3rd base kill.
Yeah,
like,
this is looking really good for RagnaroK.
Yeah.
This timing was just clutch.
Yeah.
I mean, Trap fumbled it a little bit with the force fields. He only had 4, so they had to be perfect, and he was just barely off on 1, and like 8 more Banelings came in.
Yeah, and I mean, the Biles were going out real quick there as well to help deal.
Yeah, and this is so impressive to me, too, because the way the build order is lined up, I really like this for Trap. And RagnaroK just, I mean, that was a great attack. He accomplished everything he possibly could have imagined. He reset the sentry count. He cleared all the adepts. He got probes. He killed the 3rd Nexus, and
he had a great arc there coming in from the 2 sides. We didn't have that many like SimCity type buildings there to buy time either.
Right.
And obviously, when you're in this type of situation and your opponent is, and you're on like the Blink Stalker tech, it's hard to fit Archons into there, which is really how you're going to slaughter those Banelings as they come in, right?
And right now we see Trappy just finished researching Charged Zealots, and I'm not too sure how much I like this against someone who already has the Speedling tech out. I mean,
no, I
don't know.
Well,
there is no right answer.
Charge is so good, but he doesn't even have the economy to go Zealots, right? Zealots are like a mineral dump, and that is what he absolutely has none of.
Yeah.
I mean, his economy is atrocious right now.
Yeah, I mean, 56 workers does not tell the full story when the main base is harvesting at half efficiency and you're distance mining from the 3rd. I mean, it's now finally back up, but RagnaroK's already maxed.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of Colossi on the map, but we have the Hive almost done. So if he buys any time and gets out like 2 Vipers, he is going to ruin this composition. The Colossi are everything now.
Yeah, and this kind of unit composition for the Zerg player as well is one that even if you're maxed, your army actually can get better because you can morph more Banelings.
That is, I mean, the most supply efficient unit in the game.
Yeah, Absolutely. And I mean, when you have this kind of advantage too, it's one of the best ways of just sealing the deal. You know, like you're not going in with a maxed army of just like roaches and ravagers and lings. You turn all those lings into banelings, and
yeah.
it's like Protoss tier in terms of like how much money you have invested in supply, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas usually, like, that's so many banelings.
That is so many banelings. Also, the Ultraless Cavern on the way. I do love seeing that added in this matchup.
Yeah, especially with a ling and baneling comp.
Yeah.
Goodbye force
It's
fields.
underutilized, right? Because you don't really want Immortals against this type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, like,
we definitely don't have it. I mean, against what you see here, Ultras wreck that.
yeah. And I mean, even if you just get like 2 to accompany your army to
Walk
smash
over
the
the
force
forces,
fields,
yeah.
then your banelings are always connecting.
ByuN is too hard. You just have the Ultralisk in there to walk over.
Yeah.
All right, little run in here with the Banes.
Doesn't
good
accomplish
pullback.
too much.
No, not too much.
But these are like the things that RagnaroK can afford. I mean, he's sitting on a 4K resource bank right
Yeah.
now. Trap is still struggling to max. This is tough. Trap needs a really, really big fight.
All right, coming forward now. Blinks onto the creep ahead of him. He has got to make this happen. Here we go. The Vipers coming in are very scary indeed. All right, yanks those forward. The actual engagement, like he kills off, yeah, just about all the Colossi. And like Trap can kill this army, but there's going to be more coming.
Yeah. I mean, that is a fight that wins for the Protoss, but that was a more expensive Protoss army. And I mean, this is the advantage of having a bank. And 5 Ultras right now in production.
Yeah. The Immortal's so important at this moment. He's got to really focus fire. If we don't see that, he's going to be in terrible trouble.
Yeah.
Vials going down. Some nice micro there from Trap. Getting back. Brings up his Prism now.
Here we go. I mean, right now I feel like this is not the fight that RagnaroK wants to take. I feel like, I mean, the Ultras are one of the slowest units to remax on. So fighting right now with the Queens and like the straggler units, like the supply is, a lot of it's in production still.
Yeah,
finally the Ultras pop.
Yeah, he fights with 1 Ultra there. I think like he needs to buy time, but probably just letting this base die and getting critical mass to stop this army is probably a good play.
Yep, all the Immortals are down now. Oh no, he gets a save! Spoke too soon. Clutch move there with the Warp Prism. But I mean, that fight went about as well as you could hope.
Yeah.
For Trap.
Trap is making magic right now.
But this is still a really, really tough spot. I mean, honestly, I don't know too... Is he going to blink forward and try and get the Ultra? There was the blink.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not enough creep there like he could have. Okay.
He's going to get it.
And I mean, this is great. You have to try to gain some value right now with these Stalkers. Because the Stalkers are not scaling all that well here.
Yeah. It is surprising how much damage Trap is getting done with this army right now.
Yeah, I think RagnaroK, he's just not quite hitting the critical mass he needs to roll through this.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the amount of Stalkers is just perfect to micro. I mean, this is the situation that they thrive in against these low number of Zerg units. You can just pull all the weakened one back. And I mean, somehow Trap is redeeming himself from the early game and just coming through in the clutch.
It's pretty darn impressive. I don't think it's quite over yet. Like RagnaroK still has a good army amount, but the Stalkers are being so efficient.
He's definitely getting his money's worth right now. I mean, they're trading. This is not a killing blow, but this is what he needs to do to try and make up for the resource discrepancy. I mean, RagnaroK had that huge bank, and now like supplies are starting to equalize, and the bank is gone.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot left here. You can see that Immortal being microed back extra as well. Trying to target it down. Okay, good snipe there from RagnaroK. The Immortal does end up going down. Another one comes out now.
Yeah, that's not going to go down with the Warp Prism, though. The Stalker count finally going. And end of the day, I mean, RagnaroK, he's still up 50 supply. Finally, those charge outs coming into the fray. Been waiting for them.
Are they going to actually be able to make the difference here? Okay, Overcharge comes down.
Yeah,
this
that's
is a lot of Zerg units. Great blinding cloud here.
Yeah, that's a really clutch one.
Ooh. I mean, Trap cannot lose this because he's basically down to like 1.2 bases mining if he does.
Yeah, this next warp-in might be enough to try and push the Zerg army back. I don't see a lot of reinforcements coming in on the map, but no, it looks like RagnaroK has just enough.
And
man,
GG. All right.
Trap made that so close, though.
He did. And I think you're right. RagnaroK was taking that fight a little bit wrong with the Queens and Straggler units.
I feel like
you have to buy time there as well, but yeah.
I don't know if you do. I mean, I might be wrong about this, but I mean, like, with how long, if you're going to remax on 5 Ultras, I mean, that's where all of your bank is going into those Ultras. If I'm the Zerg player there, I might even sacrifice that base. I mean, I think he had one more hatch on like the left side and another one going up. Wait until you have your full army and then engage.
Yeah, if you actually have critical mass one time, the game is yours.
Yeah.
Because Trap does not have the economy behind. He still wins.
But
he could have won better.
But the thing that really scares me about that is we go into the next game. I guess I'll go into that in a moment. As RagnaroK up 1-0 here against Trap, coming into set number 2.
All right, let's do it.
Game
Curious Minds.
start. Afrika Freaks, Trap. Alpha X, RagnaroK.
So the point that I wanted to make there is that that game was a win for RagnaroK, but it almost makes me think that Trap is going to win this series.
Yeah.
Because of that misplay at the third.
Yeah.
I mean, Trap was in such an unfortunate position just kind of from the get-go when that Baneling Roach Ravager timing came in and pretty much decimated his third base.
Yeah.
And he still almost came back with superior control and RagnaroK's missteps. I mean, that's scary. I feel like RagnaroK can't make those missteps again if he wants to come out on this series.
Well, I think that basically it also showed like what RagnaroK is fighting with compared to Trap. Like Trap, if you know those like things that you would see like on like fighting video games or like old trading cards and stuff where it's like, oh, here are the skills and like it's the octagon or whatever, the hexagon, whatever. And it's like Trap basically fills out everything. It's like he's like a 10 on macro and like a 9 on micro and like a 10 on pressure and like, you know, all these things. And RagnaroK is just a bit lower on everything, but strategically, like you can kind of, that's one way that Trap can lose is you can counter his strats reasonably well. This is how we've seen him lose some finals and things where he doesn't deal with certain strats quite correctly.
Yeah.
So I think the switch from RagnaroK there when he saw those Blink Stalkers, he went to Baneling Nest very quickly, got that speed upgrade, was able to end up punishing and getting that damage. So I think that if he's to win the series, it has to be strategically because he's not gonna outdo him in other ways.
Yeah, and I mean like the way he navigated his unit composition there in the first game was really impeccable. Like I gotta say that was the thing that I was most impressed with from RagnaroK in game number 1. But
felt like he had the right number of Ravagers. He was making decent arcs and getting into the right units very quickly.
Goodness. I think the cleaning bot helped out a little bit with that one, if I'm not mistaken.
That's cool.
You got a mineral walk away from that cleaning bot.
He vacuums up the corpse too, damn. It's interesting, by the way, watching RagnaroK both games keep his drone in the base as long as possible and then just lose it in there. You don't see that often.
This is something that he's done for a very long time, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, RagnaroK was one of those players that I would hit on the ladder when I was playing actively and streaming, and I mean, that was one of the things that he's always kind of been unique with, is he wants to get every bit of information he can out of the Protoss player, and I mean, really the advantage of the Protoss race, I mean, at least in my opinion, is how hard you can swing in one direction all of the time. I mean, like, you have 3 techs that kind of diverge in very different ways.
Yeah.
And you can really, really emphasize air, or you can really emphasize the timing. So it's smart. I mean, like you said, he needs to win this strategically if he's going to win this series, and I think he's trying to do everything he can to get the information he needs to make those right strategic calls. Yeah,
we saw that in game 1 as well, not only with the drone, but even the Overlord sacrifice that we were talking about, because he like sent in at exactly the right time to get maximum intel before it died.
Right.
So he has these little timings and ideas in his head about what he's looking for and when. Always good to see that type of planning.
Yeah, and he's learned a little bit from last game too. These Spore Crawlers will be in time, so hopefully not losing quite as many drones as he did in the last game. And Trap kind of with the same opening, just going into Stargate, Oracle getting the third base, very standard PvZ stuff in the current meta. likely going to follow with the Void Ray once you can afford it.
Yeah, and then we get to kind of see what his plan is. Is it Twilight? Is it Void Rays?
I didn't notice he actually got the Void Ray before the Oracle in this game. Huh.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't either. Okay, we have air attacks on the way. So,
all right.
Very likely we'll be seeing Sky Toss here.
If you're watching at home, maybe go and grab a snack.
Yeah. Don't worry.
If you're watching in America,
it's going to take you 30 minutes to get the snack. We'll probably still be here. It's okay.
If you're in America, it's pretty late. Maybe also pick up a coffee or something like that.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm excited to see air toss, man. I mean, well, I know that it is a lot of the meta, but for me, I mean, the meta that I largely played in, we didn't really see a lot of Sky Toss.
No,
it was more of like a late game transition thing, if anything. It was hardly ever an opener.
Yeah.
So, for me, I still kind of a little bit like the youthful vigor. Like I enjoy watching this.
Totally.
I'm sure by the end of this tournament, if we get enough PBZs, I'll be sick of it. But
well, I think you probably will. Dark and Rogue are both here, and they don't die easy. So, but yeah. Well, I like seeing Sky Toss because I think it's actually just the correct way to play. Like this is, when I see these things like glaive openers, your win percent goes way down comparatively, right? Like we see a lot. Like, is RagnaroK supposed to beat Trap? Maybe not, right? Like Trap is the best Protoss.
Right.
So the fact that he's going into this Sky Toss opener, I feel like, well, as soon as you see it, as long as he's not, there's some goofy ones where you make like 3 Void Rays and then you try to do 2 other things at the same time.
Yeah.
But like, as long as he just produces the Void Rays, you don't really see him dying anytime soon, right? So he can at least get to that later part of the game where he can start outplaying him in other ways.
I wonder if RagnaroK doesn't want to let the game get to that point. I wonder if he's going to push across the map quite early and just all in it.
Well, he's definitely focusing these queens on pushing the creep up right now.
Yeah, he's got 5 queens there in the front. I'm sure he has 1 at each base, and he's building 3 more. I think this is looking like a timing.
I think you're probably right. Like with a +1 range attack and Roach speed on the way, maybe he's just going to try to go for that. I feel like it's not supposed to really work, Like if Protoss catches wind that it's coming, they can get enough to hold on.
Yeah. If Trap.
Oh, sorry. I just saw the Spire go down.
Oh.
Right. So it's like I'm wondering if it's going to be like a bunch of Corruptors thrown in, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's gonna be that Void Ray. You're gonna need a lot of those to defend this push if it does come, but yeah, I mean, with that kind of queen count, and considering that he's still making them, I mean, like, queens are also one of those units that you want in the late game, so it is tough to say, but
well, he is making a lot of queens.
Yeah, and roaches. This is looking like, I think you're exactly right. I think he's going to go into Corruptors, and I think he's going to have 1 million transfuses, and I mean, on paper, Void Rays very good against Corruptors, but not. Maybe not with queens under him and 1 million transfuse.
Yeah, and actually I love this counterplay, right? I think he's actually caught on because he's gonna go Disruptor, I believe, and I think that's a good counter to this. He's making
that is fantastic.
Yeah. Shield batteries, cannons, get into Disruptors and just hold this off, and like you can do it.
But the thing is, the Robobay is finishing now, and the attack is already here, and that is a big army.
It certainly is. And look, he moves back during the overcharge. He's being patient, moving back up now. Nice angle coming in from these Ravagers. The Queen's pushing off the creep now.
First Archon going down as well. I think we had a Ravager shot on those Void Rays too, and I mean, Trap has nothing to deal with this. RagnaroK's just going to completely overwhelm him. That's it.
Beautiful.
That's it.
What a push from RagnaroK.
Yeah.
Truly. The Disruptor's a little bit late. Seems like Trap was not quite on top of it. I never felt like air toss was really his style as much. I think it's still a good choice, but RagnaroK was well prepared. And this, I think, like, here's the thing. Trap wins most of the Super Tournaments. But like I was mentioning at the very beginning, the first match is the hardest one because your opponent actually has a long time to prepare. The other matches, you don't have as long to prepare. You're thinking about your match that you just played, and then you finish it, and then you see who won the other match, and then you're like, okay, now I start preparing, right?
Right.
And Protoss can excel in tournaments like that. But here in this first round, it seems like RagnaroK is coming with very strong plans. He's executing them well, and now he's up 2-0 against Trap.
Yeah. I don't think that's a result that many people would expect coming into this series. But I mean, RagnaroK, you said it, if he's going to win, it has to be strategically, and strategically, he is playing impeccably right now.
He is indeed. Let's do it. Game number 3. See if Trap can come back, or is he going to get 3-0?
Game starts. Afrika Freaks, Trap. Alpha X, RagnaroK.
We talked a little bit about how persistent RagnaroK is with his scouting, and I think as soon as he identified that it was going to be that kind of sky toss play, he just flipped the switch in his head and he's like, okay, we're going to kill him.
Yeah, you saw he went ranged attack immediately. He went roach speed immediately, and he started producing the queens. Yeah.
I mean, it's been paying off for him. I'm feeling really good about RagnaroK's play right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The question that I have is, if you're Trap, I don't think you go for Sky Toss again. I mean, this map, it does look like it's a little bit better for it. It's quite, there isn't quite the clear pathway with creep.
Sure.
As opposed to Curious Minds.
You have to break some rocks and stuff if you really want to do that. That's going to buy extra time for Protoss, things like that.
But even that being the case, I'm not sure you go Sky Toss here. I think probably if you're Trap, you're going to look back on game 1. You're going to realize that you almost did succeed in pulling water from that stone after losing your third base.
Yeah.
And I think we're probably going to see him go back to that kind of, Stalker into Colossus style.
Sure. And the thing is, I think that Trap is good enough to pull that off.
Yeah.
I think it's a very tricky thing to actually pull off, because if you're not applying immense pressure to Zerg, they will run away with that type of game, right? Because your Stalkers aren't going to scale, so you need them producing units that you're killing to keep that going. And I mean, I think it's a fine choice because he's so good at that style. But if he were to go Sky Toss, I think that is the strongest opener, and he did get outdone there.
Yeah.
So I see your point of view of maybe we skip that now.
I wonder if the play is the timing, or if he's going to wait until he just has that third base up and a large enough army to move across the map. Because, I mean, the one takeaway from map number 1, and this, I mean, RagnaroK, he's a very good strategic player. I mean, like you said, if they were on player cards, Trap is like a 90+ on everything. He's very well-rounded. RagnaroK, exceptional strategically, but maybe not the best in the world when it comes to other things, right? Like, we saw him misplay a little bit at the third base in game number 1 in terms of his rally. He was taking fights that he didn't need to, that were unfavorable. Yeah. So I feel like if Trap gets to a maxed army, even if it's a land-based army, no Sky Toss, I think he can take a favorable trade and then just kind of punish those mistakes.
Yeah. Does RagnaroK have the wherewithal to continually build the Roach Ravager comp, but then also transition into the Lurkers in the late game and then control that type of army, which is a very different skill set. And if you're more of a strategic, maybe cheesy, aggressive player, you're not hitting that comp as much. So are you going to be as good? And that's going to be something that obviously Trap plays against a lot.
This is, you're not going to be happy, but this is looking a lot like a 4-gate Adept.
Yeah.
No Stargate, second gateway timing, right?
You're right. Four-gate glaives. All
yep.
right.
Second gate in the front, kind of a tell.
Yeah, I mean, you see the Stalker. Nothing flying has come by you yet. I think you're definitely you're suspecting this right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean these builds, they can be hard to deal with if you don't see them coming. But RagnaroK, he's so meticulous with his scouting. He's even setting in the Overlord now for the confirmation. And wow, this isn't just 4-8 Adept.
Oh,
Trap is going all in.
Yeah, that's a 6-gate glaive build right there. So Trap he's going hard. We'll see if this works out for him. All right, he sees some shades coming down with these links.
Yeah, and I think right now he knows what's going on. He's already making the Spine Crawler, but the thing is, the Roach Warren, not done yet. And he's already at 43. He was at 43 drones, and I feel like that's a little bit more than you want to hold on. He might be past the breaking point and being able to defend this.
All right, he is making some sunks. He has the queens here to try to buy some time. Oh, tries to push back. Where are the lings? I hope the lings are on top of the shades. Okay, they are.
Oh, but that's a really good angle for the Adepts.
Yeah, it is. Great shade and location.
I feel like I think the Roach War might have been too late. These Adepts, I mean, they were already getting a lot of damage done, and things can snowball so fast with this unit composition. Even here, the natural, the Lings, they can't get us around because of the mineral patches. Another mineral field is being denied by these Adepts, and this is working so far for Trap.
Yeah, he's doing a great job right now. He's got 8 drone kills already, but we do have some spines up. Okay, he's lost a pretty large amount of drones, but I don't think it's game over yet. RagnaroK still has a little bit of play in this position. Right? Like, if he can continue... Oh, God.
I don't know.
Continue to block it, like... I mean, sometimes the Adept build can fall apart, but that is a lot of damage so far.
I think you're right, but only if Trap overextends and loses those Adepts. That has to happen. If that does not happen, you better cancel that Shade, because it almost did.
If he does nothing but cancel Shades...
This one might be okay because with Port Prism. Oh, my goodness.
Well, he is killing so many. Like you can sack 4 Adepts for 8 drones.
Yeah,
right now.
Don't even fly in the Prism. I mean, with 4 Queens, you can't really do it. But
yeah, he needs to not finish any more Shades.
Yeah.
Honestly, like all he needs to do is build units, because RagnaroK, I think, has to kind of go all in from here.
He has to.
And so all you need to do is make sure you have a standing army that can actually fight.
For a moment, RagnaroK had almost lost more drones than he had created this game. that is absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why this timing is still around, is because if your opponent doesn't catch wind of it immediately, if they go up past 40 drones,
well, if you don't have
tough.
that Warren when it comes,
yeah,
it's
the Warren
like,
as well.
The Lings can't really fight, and yeah, that's tough. Now, an Immortal coming out as well.
Right.
Some Ravagers are being made.
But the thing about Ravagers is, I mean, like, if you're making them the rest of your units, you're probably going to have a lot more Lings and Roaches, and the Adepts are going to absolutely shred those.
Oh God, that's a scary army right there.
Yeah, you can't be in both places at once. He's not even going to cancel the Shade, so the Lings had to deal with that. Instead, they're going to come back to the army, but so much damage has already been done.
Yeah, tries to get us around here. Of course, the Prism going to save those Immortals, pop them out the back. He does start to kill off some of the Adepts here, but it seems like Trap's still in good shape.
Yeah. That Immortal
don't lose that. Don't lose that.
Shouldn't have gone down.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that Observer was, oh my goodness, in the back. Didn't quite lose any drones there, but did lose a lot of mining time, which, I mean, still significant if these Adepts get out of here. And Trap's not done. I see him posturing on the minimap again. He's going right back to the natural, and he's even getting blinked now.
Yeah, he's still looking pretty darn strong, coming out with another push here. Queens trying to transfuse each other to stay alive while he chases around the few Adepts left over.
I'm a little scared of this with Trap. I mean, that Warp Prism is very low HP, and wow, RagnaroK's actually just going straight for it. He's going to get the snipe on that Warp Prism if I'm not mistaken. So this army has to win the fight, but RagnaroK, it just does not seem like he has enough, even shading onto the Roaches to prevent them from running away, and that's going to be it. GG there for Trap, a beautifully executed 6 Gateway.
Yeah.
Adept.
Yeah. You have to get a lot of damage with that.
Yeah.
Right? And he did. And the thing is, something like that's a hard call. He was on elimination point, and I guarantee you RagnaroK can hold on against that.
Yeah.
That is not some unstoppable strategy. And like every Zerg knows how to do it.
The question is, do you actually execute it?
Yeah.
And the main points there for the Zerg, I mean, there's a lot of multitasking that goes on, but the main thing is, what is your drone count? Did you make too many? If you're going past 40, it can be very difficult. And when is that Roach Warren going down? And for RagnaroK, it was kind of, I mean, I guess for Trap, it was the perfect storm on RagnaroK, because not only did he go over 40 drones, which, I mean, it's still possible to hold if you execute perfectly, but the Warren was late, and you have to make Lings because you need some units to defend. And great win for Trap as we're going into map number 4.
Game starts. Africa Freaks, Trap. Alpha X, RagnaroK.
I gotta say, we've had some great games so far tonight.
Yeah, we really have, actually. Very lucky with this first round of Super Tournament. I love that RagnaroK took a couple maps to start.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing well in ZVP recently, so. carrying a little bit of that momentum into this game as Trap a little bit more successful with the hatch block this time.
Doesn't get the pylon down, so
No.
RagnaroK will be able to go ahead and make that. What do you think Trap goes for this game? I couldn't imagine him doing another big glaive build.
Yeah, I don't think
could
it's going to be
him-
glaives.
I could see like the original glaive build he did, where it's like he's going glaives, but it's a light pressure, right? Like a 3-gate glaive, where you're like pretending you're doing it, but actually you're taking a third and making immortals and sentries.
The issue behind that build, I mean, I think you're right that that's definitely an option. RagnaroK even blocking the hatch here.
So annoying.
500 minerals, and then it goes down. I mean, that's every single probe is going to be about half production late. That
Yeah.
adds up really quick.
It is. It does.
Adds up really, really quick.
Every little thing.
RagnaroK, I gotta say, he's got like the most annoying drones of pretty much any Zerg player.
Seriously. I like the idea of keeping alive and just giving it up. It's like, yeah, no, I want the scout, and it's a very stylistic thing.
Yeah. To go back to your question though about what I think Trap is going to do, I mean, I personally I think you go back to the game 1 strategy, and I think you just
third base,
you
light
don't-
glaive.
Yeah. Third base, light glaives, maybe even delay the glaives and get blink first. I'm not I'm not sure about the order on that, but it's kind of it doesn't matter too much, I suppose, but just get the 1 or 2 Void Rays out, play safe, take the fast third, and then cuz I feel like Trap is just going to have the superior fights. If he can get to the mid game with no player getting a significant advantage or disadvantage, I feel like Trap is just going to win on pure fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
Fundamentally,
think-
he's the strongest Protoss, for sure.
I think both players know that too. So if that's going to happen, I think he can probably and correctly assume that RagnaroK is going to go for some kind of timing to prevent that from happening. And I mean, it's kind of this tricky dance in terms of how much are you going to invest in preparing for that early push as opposed to your mid and your late game plan. But I mean, if anyone can walk that line, it's going to be Trap.
Yeah. Well, here he's gone for a Robo.
No Twilight, right?
No Twilight, just straight up Robo. That's a very, very, very fast Robo.
And he has the...
there's a variety of things you can do from here.
Oh
and
my God.
I almost said as a joke earlier on, like, let's see Speed Disruptor drops, right? And follow that up with the timing push. That might be what we end up seeing here.
That looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much perfectly timed. I mean, it's not PVT, so probably not going to be a Colossus.
Well,
but
here's one thing, right? Like, you know your opponent's getting his Roach Warren on time this game. After last game.
Yeah, you know he's
right?
getting his roaches.
He might even have 5-6 roaches sitting around.
That is actually such a good point because again, there is no Void Ray. It looks like the same thing from the Zerg's perspective. He hasn't sent the second Overlord into the main base. The Adepts are shading out at the same time. The Stalker is in the wall. Visually, for the Zerg player, he doesn't know if this is the same build or not.
Yeah. I'm very interested.
He's 4 drones down from last game at this point. He's at 38 instead of 42, and he has the Warren up.
Yeah, and here come his roaches. So Disruptor plus speed. Here we go.
He's
really set him up for this.
This is really, really smart. Even Spore Crawlers are coming down. I mean, RagnaroK, he's just playing safe. He doesn't know what to expect.
Yeah, he doesn't. And you can't defend everything. And honestly, you look at like what he's doing, this is not going to be good against Speed Disruptor.
No, it's not. It's not. I think now he knows that it's not the glaive timing. But at this point, he's already committed. I mean, like, he has 40 workers. I mean, if you're RagnaroK and you have 5 more Overlords into production, those are probably going to be for roaches.
Oh
no?
my gosh.
Going into drones?
Okay.
For a
some more
second,
Ravagers coming out.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought that maybe he was doing that because, like, your game plan there is just make Roachling, morph some Ravagers, and then, like, just crush a move out when it does happen or try and kill them when they take their third. But instead, droning up, that does feel like the correct play. The question now is, and only 4 queens, this Disruptor job is going to be difficult to deal with.
This is going to be really, really annoying, and he's going to follow up with such a strong push as well. He has that first Colossus on the way, which is a staple of the push. And here we go.
Yep.
Disruptor's coming out.
3 drones. I mean, that's usually how many an Oracle gets.
Yeah.
And I mean, considering that RagnaroK was already trying to prevent an Adept all-in from coming in, I mean, those 3 drones, they pretty much count double.
Mm-hmm.
He's only at 44 workers right now.
Yeah,
He's
no,
back into making
low.
lings.
This is, I love this planning from Trap, but I think RagnaroK's doing a reasonably good job, right? He's keeping enough lings underneath that you can't quite get a disruptor shot off.
Yeah.
So that's good. He's made a lot of Zerglings though, which, you know, obviously this is why you make some Colossi with it. So
Yeah. So what's going to happen here though is, I mean, like the disruptor, he is shutting it down, but he's spent too much money on his army. He's going to have to come in for an attack, and right now he is.
Oh.
Those lings, they get a really, really good surround. Trap is caught out of position as he's trying to secure his 3rd base. The disruptor drop coming in. Really good connections on the Roaches and Ravagers, but I think the Colossus dropped.
Colossus definitely taking a bit too much damage there. Balls goes back
Oh
into his
my
wall.
goodness.
So he's just going to hold. That was a good attack from RagnaroK.
Yeah, this is RagnaroK taking his disadvantage of misreading the early build and finding a way to get money out of it, because he gets the value of, like, I had to make all these Roaches and Lings. I had to do it to prevent the all-in from coming, and then the all-ins didn't come, and I had to use them to prevent the harassment from coming in. I need to get values out of these right now, and he shuts down the 3rd base, and that was just really, really good play.
Yeah, and look at this. He's going into the Baneling Nest, which I think is actually a fantastic call here as well. It's incredibly hard, especially on creep, to nail the Banelings coming in with those disruptors. Yeah, the one thing I was just slightly surprised on was the 3rd base. I thought for sure he was going to follow it up with a timing push, considering the low amount of drones.
Yeah.
Like, to keep more pressure, but it seems like Trap wants to parlay this into the later game, which you can't blame him, because like you've been saying, if he gets in that later game, he gets a sizable amount of army, like, he's going to be able to outplay just about everybody.
I think RagnaroK's plan right now, though, is to wait until that 3rd comes up and then just try and kill him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go into
You're
that
definitely
mid-game.
right, yeah. Look, he's
Yeah,
on
Baneling
55
speed.
drones making lings right now. Like,
Yeah.
He's getting ready to do something big here.
Yeah, he's pretty much done with his last round of drone production. Always fun trying
There's
to watch
just
those get
something
queen.
funny watching queens run away from things. On creep, off creep, just anywhere.
They move, yeah. they move pretty funny. So the main thing here is RagnaroK's army. It beats Trap straight up without good disruptor hits.
Yes, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Like
there's
shots,
a huge onus on Trap for micro in this game right now.
Yeah, and losing these stalkers, I mean, that's painful. Blink is less than 10 seconds. Oh my goodness, he's even gonna get these into the main base.
Really, honestly, like he needs Archons right now with this army, if you ask me. Like,
he's so far away from Archons, though.
Yeah, he is. But like that would be the thing that completes this set of units. He's coming in. The disruptors go off.
Oh no.
Okay, well, picks one.
Yeah. Trap right now, I mean, looks like he has about 6 force fields left, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, 3 Colossus, they have a really good punch against this, but that is a great arc for RagnaroK coming in. Trap trying to make his way to the ramp, and he will. He even picks up the, oh, that's so good picking up the sentries there.
Oh, those force fields actually did a fantastic job. He was very close on getting the Banelings on that clump. Of course, the Colossi make everything clump up even more.
That was really well microed by Trap. I'm impressed.
All right, moving in now, once again, towards his 3rd base. RagnaroK trying to go around the other side for a bit of it. Oh, wow. Yeah,
what a blink. Oh, my goodness. That was a sick connection with a disruptor shot.
I don't know if RagnaroK has enough at this point. Like, Trap is whittling him down really, really, really well.
The one thing that RagnaroK does have in his favor is, oh no, never mind. That's too many stalkers coming in right now. RagnaroK's reinforcements are not going to be able to contest this. I mean, the sentries are going to go down, but the pure bulk of this army from Protoss is so strong.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough to really get the full engage on it. It's a real problem for him right now. The blink forward now, it's no Banelings remain. Even slow Zealots walking forward. GG is called. And Trap coming back now, tied up 2-2.
That was so beautifully controlled by Trap. I mean, even the forward blink right there for a second, I mean, like, I got scared because in my playing days, I used to do that and get smacked.
Yeah.
With forward blink. But with the disruptors, it actually had the effect of RagnaroK sees this and, like, his eyes, like, they go red. He wants bloodshed. He wants to kill those stalkers. He moves in all his units, and that's when the disruptor shots go off. And he had sick connections. Both sides, he takes down roaches and ravagers.
Big clump there in the mineral line as well.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a great game though, and I think Trap really set him up for that. Like RagnaroK had all the wrong things at all the wrong times.
Yeah.
Trap really abused him, and now we go on to Blackburn for our final set. All right, let's do it. Tied up 2-2. Can Trap advance, or will RagnaroK get that upset? Let's see.
Game starts. Africa Freaks. Trap. Alpha X. RagnaroK.
Trap has shown such a different variety of builds so far in this series. I wonder what he's going to do next.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I want to see him go Sky Toss.
I kind of don't.
I know, I'm no fun, but I want to see it.
I feel like it's tough. I feel like it would be tough to pull that off against RagnaroK, because RagnaroK, one thing that he does very, very well, one of his strengths as a player is not just his strategic decision making, but his timings are really powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that in game number 1 when he came in with all of his roaches and ravagers, lings and banes. He had a sick engagement on the third base of Trap and just completely rolled him. But when you go Sky Toss, I mean, this map, it is more favorable than the map where RagnaroK kind of just walked across the map with queens and ravagers and killed him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you're Trap, I feel like the solid game is some kind of opener, maybe not even another quirky one, but some kind of opener just sets you up with a third base, with some Colossi, with Blink Stalkers, with a handful of sentries, just get that kind of ideal core unit composition. Because he's shown in game number 1, even after he was pretty much knocked out when he lost his third base, he's able to get so much value out of that army composition.
Well, we definitely saw that in the last game as well. It's like that was pretty wild, because I felt like RagnaroK was heading in the right direction, but just never had a chance to break him.
I was under the impression that RagnaroK, I mean, was going to be able to find some kind of clutch timing on the third base of Trap and just mow him down, but in fact, it was Trap who just kind of
walked across the map.
Walked across the map and killed him. And, I mean, his control was immaculate. Even in situations where he was about to lose all of his sentries, I mean, just like beautiful pickups, just barely in range of the Warp Prism, the force field, like then dropping them and force fielding the ramp to prevent the bailing connection. Like, his control is, it's something, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's 9s and 10s on just about every stat in StarCraft. Well, he is going Stargate here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the thing is, when you see Stargate, sometimes it's just one Void Ray. Sometimes even it's 2 Void Rays, but then into other tech. It doesn't have to end up being Sky Toss.
I wonder if we're going to go back to kind of the same opening as map number 1. Just kind of pull out a Void Ray to get that really fast third base.
Well, it's definitely solid. The one thing I think you do have to be just a little bit wary of is that gold base on this map, where Zergs do love gold bases.
Yeah. That is one thing to consider, is if you do end up going for that build, I feel like you do have to hit a pre-max timing before the gold base can really pay for itself. It's
kind of if you look at how you can cut the map in half though as well, it seems like the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock bases, if you go Sky Toss here, I'm having a hard time imagining a world in which Zerg can hold 12 or 6. You know? I can see them totally holding their entire side, but the 12 and 6 seem much more likely for the carrier player.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right about that. And then also, if you end up going Sky Toss, I mean, the gas matters a lot more than the minerals. I mean, the gold base, it is a very good boost in the early game if you're trying to go for a timing to break the Sky Toss player. Like the gold base is going to be the economic tool that powers that pays for it. But if you actually do go into a true late game scenario and we see a second Stargate, that might be the case.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, because he blocked the natural and then the third base was taken, that means that like automatically makes the gold base the fourth, which makes it really slow for anti-sky toss timings, right?
Yeah.
So I think that kind of works out in that way as well. Now, there's the second Stargate. It's going voids, so it does look like a sky toss play. Now, I mean, obviously, there's a big range on exactly how you can do this. I mean, you can go pure sky toss. You can go into side storm. Obviously, disruptor play can be good against like the all-in that we saw from RagnaroK before against it. Of course, you have to identify that that's what they're going for first.
Yeah. I think it's really just kind of up to Trap and how he decides to go about this. Because he's getting really good scouting intel with the Oracles.
Yeah.
I mean, based on everything that RagnaroK is doing, it's pretty standard. I mean, even going up to... Oh, he just delayed his gases. For a second, I thought he was getting them to the third, but no, just going to the 4 gas. So, I don't know. I mean, the Queen production, like, it really isn't quite there unless he starts them up right now.
Yeah. I think he's not entirely sure, right?
Yeah.
He's not entirely sure that this is Sky Toss this game. There is a Robo on the way. So that would definitely, like, if that type of timing comes, I think this game, it's very simple to get disruptors in time.
Right. I mean... One thing about Queens and Ravagers is
they do not dodge disruptor shots well, do they?
Yeah, not very well. I mean, maybe if you're defending and you have all of the creep in the world, but
yeah.
I mean, even in the game where RagnaroK was pushing in with the creep pretty much all across the map, his Queens were still really slow actually in the battle. Like, it's hard to get the creep all the way into the fight, into the engagement.
Yeah. And I mean, it's never going to get all the way to the Nexus, or you basically already won.
Yeah, and yeah, it's going to be Hydralisk. So. I think probably seeing these forward Void Rays, he has some good idea of what's going down. And as we were talking about before, it's not really the minerals that are super critical, but the gas in these games that go very, very late. So Trap getting a nice little pick off with that extractor, probably costing his opponent maybe 200 gas in terms of delayed mining. And he's just going to take a 4th base behind this because, I mean, he's really safe.
Yeah, both sides at this point I'm looking at, it doesn't seem like anyone can die.
That Oracle can get some kills, though. I mean, a little bit of oversight not to have a Queen or a Spore Crawler there already.
For sure. All right, Fleet Beacon is coming up, 3rd Stargate. He can see all that. There's no sense in hiding. It's pretty obvious what's going on. Disruptor production has begun, so obviously you can't really do a big attack with, like, Hydra Queen. The Disruptors, I mean, even just a few of them, like, the speed with which the math changes on what wins there, it's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like RagnaroK is going to have to go into a game that he probably doesn't want to play, which is an ultra late game against Trap.
Absolutely. And, like, that's exactly where we're going. Like, as soon as the Hydralisk Den went out, it was like, okay, well, this is going real long. We're basically mining this out. Because it's very difficult for either side to kill.
Right.
Now, we'll see exactly which style oh my god, 7 Drop Lords.
Oh, wow.
That is not what I expected, but I love to see it. That is a really cool idea.
Yeah, this is exactly what RagnaroK wants to, I think. I mean, like, playing an ultimate late game, like you even said, on this map 12 and 6, they're so hard to hold. If the map is getting mined out, and the toss gets 4 more gases than you, that is tough. So, yeah, this is really smart. Really smart by RagnaroK. I mean, oh no.
That's
this is
literally the worst thing that could have happened.
That's devastating.
Right there. LOL. What am I even looking at?
I can't believe he's
RagnaroK just wants to be eliminated. What is he doing? What is he doing?
You can't.
What is it? No, just turn around.
around.
This doesn't even make sense.
I mean, he's going to be dropping right here under the Void Rays, and he's going to get 2 of them, but the Disruptors are already out, and these connections are going to be absurd.
Oof. Blowing up a few of those Queens immediately. There's just no chance. Like, as soon as he was seen, you can't do it anymore. Like, he's watching.
That is unfortunate.
If you know your opponent's map hacking, you don't try to sneak a drop. It just doesn't even, like, what?
Yeah, I mean, even in that case, like, if you could just bring the Overlords back, don't load them up. Hide that you have the Overlords. Like, you'll have a little bit more mass and you can drop later.
Even if you screwed up and you saw the Overlords, unload, Go put those somewhere. Maybe load them up and fly around, and then unload and move back, and maybe later on you can use them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's still hard for the Protoss player to kill you.
Yeah.
Even with all the money spent on those drop overlords,
It's not that much,
It's
you know?
still difficult, you know?
Yeah.
Those could have value 10 minutes from now. Well,
The thing is, I don't think the game just instantly ends because he failed that, but it's not good. It's not good because he's a little bit slower and everything else. Look, the infestation pit is just now finishing.
yeah, that would be done already.
That's late. That's late.
Yeah. Hive timing would be close to finish, if not at least halfway done.
I think in a normal game, Hive is done here. Like a normal macro Zerg versus Sky Toss.
I do want to say, though, that like strategically the concept, I loved it.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good idea.
If he doesn't see you coming in, like he was trying to pressure the front guys, just to be clear. He was trying to pressure to keep everything in that forward position, then drop the main.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you kill the Stargates, the Fleet Beacon, you put them back so far.
Right. And maybe then the 12 and 6 are contestable.
Yeah.
Maybe then your Hive
Well, you
timing.
have that tempo advantage, right?
Yeah.
Get way more mining than them, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Not saying he would have won if it got off, but like, you know.
But it would have been really fun to watch.
Yeah. We would have had a good time.
Isn't that what really matters? It's not
No,
who
just
advances.
winning, Yeah, the void.
Void Rays right now just kind of doing work, delaying the bases as long as possible, but I mean, this game is going to go long, long, long. All the upgrades, critical upgrades coming in from Protoss here. He's getting Psystorm, he's got 3 Disruptors, that's enough at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, Templar are really going to be the critical unit, and
I think the, I would definitely agree with that. I don't mind Disruptors late game, like a couple of them, just because they can be useful against, you know, Queens. They can sometimes help bust things like Spores.
Yeah.
Obviously, we see Lurkers coming that can be useful there. And, of course, Infestors. If you bash any Infestors, then you feel like $1 million.
feels really good, yeah. At least for me, though, I mean, like, at least in the games that I have played, it's Vipers that scare me.
Yes.
Vipers are the one Zerg unit that I'm absolutely terrified from at every moment.
Yeah, Vipers are like the second best unit in the game.
Yeah, so having Templar, I mean, like, whew, need those feedbacks. And right now, I mean, this is a really potent army. Like, he can fight this.
Yeah, that's...
Those Hydras are just going to get mowed down. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what the air upgrades are right now. +2 attack.
Ooh.
That is
Yeah, no, he is
a fat chunk of army going down.
getting right through there. The Lurkers at least push back everything so that the Hydras can't just get completely swallowed up instantly.
Yeah, but
Okay, Parasitic Bombs going down, not bad. Love the Parasitic Bombs. But
I think you
that's
want
like
the
a
yoinks
grinding
there.
down spell.
yeah, it's only a good spell if you can have a big fight after it. 'Cause the worst it's going to do is destroy the shields here.
Yeah.
And now the Templar are just going to be able to storm everything, and I think Travis is going to completely clean this up.
Yeah, I think so. The drop idea failing and then going through with it kind of forced us into this position. And RagnaroK GG's. Trap going to take it down with the reverse sweep once again. 2 reverse sweeps tonight so far.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, my heart kind of breaks there for RagnaroK going for that drop afterwards.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a totally different game. I mean, Trap of all Protoss players is going to be one of the hardest in the world, if not the hardest playing right now to beat in that late game scenario.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, I think RagnaroK put out great games once again.
yeah,
It's tough, man. Like, he's quite a strong player, but not able to pull it out against Trap here.
I think giving a much better showing than a lot of people would have expected. I mean, everyone knew coming into this that he is an underdog, but at least in map 1 and map 2, he showed some really good decision making.
Another reverse sweep has been made. Trap wins against RagnaroK, and he moves on to round of 8. Congratulations, Trap. Thank you. On the opening day, you pull off another reverse sweep. You're down 2-0, but you managed to win 3-2. So how do you feel? You know, I was not in a good condition today, and when I was down 2-0, you know, I was really angry. I was really angry at myself. But since third game, I really just wanted to play comfortably and play my game, and somehow that led me to the last set of the series. In the last game, you opted for the Sky Toast in ByuN, and your defense was immaculate. So I just want to hear the background behind the game. While I was playing the fifth game, I had a feeling that I could win. As RagnaroK was losing 2 games straight, I felt like he would be in a bad mental state. And his movements were not natural. It felt like he was nervous. And when I was scouting, I realized that his overloads and hydras were there, and then that happened to be the winning turning point, I think. In the first game, had you had more, if you had more advantage in the early phase, you might have won that game too. I mean, I knew my opponents were coming, my opponent's army was coming, but my units were going downwards due to my misclick. So if I was able to defend a little bit better, I think I could have won against him in the late phase. So I'm a little disappointed in myself. And there was a lot of battle wits going on today, and you managed to win. And Trap, you're definitely one of the favorites to win this Super Tournament. So a lot of the fans really hope that you gain another Super Tournament title this year. So how do you feel about that? I really want to be good at Super Tournament, but these days the games have been really hard for me. So I'm not too sure if I can achieve it, but I do want to focus every game and try to step closer to it. So specifically, what do you find hard? I think my race is not good right now. I feel like my race has a lot more prerequisites compared to other races in order to win. So anything you want to say about the balance? You know, I think PVZ is just is not winnable. The Zerg has so much to do, the Terran has so much to do, the Protoss has no strategy to use. You're losing confidence as you go on with this interview, Trap. And your next opponent has been decided earlier today. It is Cure. And Trap, Cure has bogged you down before from moving on to the final. So what do you think about this matchup? You know, not much thought. I feel like right now my momentum is better than the last time I lost to him. So I'm not too sure about this matchup, but I'll try to get ready for it and try to put on a good performance. And this is the last offline tournament of the year, and a lot of the fans have high expectations on you winning this Super Tournament series. So anything you want to say? A lot of the fans are here today. I really miss this vibe. You know, having the live audience is so entertaining. It's so enjoyable. So last night I was really excited. Couldn't sleep. So from now on, I hope the fans keep coming to the venue to support me and the other players. Once again, congratulations, Trap. Thank you.
All right, you heard it here first. Protoss UP, underpowered. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, Rogue against Keen.